After years of pushing his limits and achieving unimaginable power, Goku makes a fateful wish on the Dragon Balls that twists his greatest strength into a horrifying curse, threatening not only his own existence, but the fate of the entire universe. The battles were over. The enemies were defeated. Peace, however fragile, had settled over the earth. Goku, ever restless, found himself yearning for a new challenge, a new level of power to attain. He had reached Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, even Ultra Instinct, but a nagging feeling persisted. There was something more, a realm of power beyond his current comprehension. He gathered the Dragon Balls. Standing before the mighty Shenron, Goku hesitated. He had used the Dragon Balls countless times before, to revive fallen friends, to restore planets, to save the universe. But this time, his wish was different. It wasn't for the good of others. It was for himself. Eternal Dragon, Goku began, his voice echoing with an unusual solemnity. I wish to understand the true extent of my power. I wish to know what lies beyond, to break through every limit, to reach the ultimate level of strength. Shenron's eyes glowed red. Your wish is a dangerous one, son Goku. Power beyond measure comes at a great price. Are you sure this is what you desire? Goku, blinded by his ambition, nodded. I am. The sky darkened, the earth trembled. Shenron's form shimmered as he spoke, his voice resonating with an ominous power. Your wish is granted. But be warned, the path you have chosen is fraught with peril. The power you seek may consume you, body and soul. Then, with a blinding flash of light, the wish was granted, and the nightmare began. At first, the changes were subtle. Goku felt a surge of power, greater than anything he had ever experienced. His transformations were effortless, his speed unimaginable, his strength limitless. He could shatter mountains with a flick of his wrist, move faster than the speed of light, and his energy blasts could vaporize planets. He had become a god in the truest sense of the word. He had reached his goal. But with this newfound power came a terrible change. His once bright, cheerful personality became cold and distant. His empathy, his compassion, his love for his friends and family, all seemed to fade away, replaced by an insatiable hunger for more power, for more strength. The power was addictive. He was no longer just training to protect people. He was training to become stronger, with no real goal in mind. He began to lose control. During training sessions, he would go too far, nearly killing his sparring partners. He would disappear for days, sometimes weeks, returning with a haunted look in his eyes and strange, dark energy crackling around him. Whispers of entire planets, Kali, empty, began to spread. Planets that Goku had been sent to train at, now left lifeless. His friends and family tried to reach him, to bring him back to his senses. But their words seemed to fall on deaf ears. The Goku they knew, the kind, compassionate hero, was gone, replaced by something else, something terrifying. He had become a shell of his former self. He barely spoke, only training and seeking more power. He would not even make eye contact with his family. The change wasn't just internal. Goku's very presence began to warp reality around him. Wherever he went, a faint but noticeable distortion followed. The sky above him would often take on a reddish hue. The ground would tremble slightly under his feet. It was as if he was becoming too powerful for the universe to contain, as if reality itself was struggling to hold him. Then came the echoes. They started as faint, almost imperceptible flickers, like glitches in a video game. But they grew stronger, more frequent, more real. People began to see things, horrific things. They saw alternate versions of themselves, twisted and broken, living out nightmarish scenarios. They saw glimpses of futures destroyed, of worlds consumed by a terrifying, all-powerful force. They saw planets, devoid of all life, floating through the cosmos. They saw the cause to be a single, powerful being. These visions, these echoes of other realities drove people mad. They caused widespread panic, chaos, and despair. The world, once safe under the protection of its greatest hero, was now teetering on the brink of collapse. The people he had sworn to protect were now terrified of him. Goku, lost in his pursuit of power, was oblivious to the suffering he was causing. He was consumed by the seventh step, by the pursuit of a power that had no limit, no end. He was becoming a black hole, a singularity of Shakti, power, consuming everything around him, even his own soul. One day, he found himself standing on a barren, lifeless planet, light years from Earth. He had no memory of how he had gotten there or why. He looked up at the sky, at the swirling galaxies, and felt nothing. No joy, no wonder, no sadness, just emptiness. In that moment of chilling clarity, he saw his reflection in a shard of broken crystal, a remnant of the planet's destruction. He saw not the hero he once was, but a monster, a being of pure, destructive energy. He saw the god he had become, the god of destruction, but not by choice. He finally understood the price of his wish. He had sought ultimate power, and he had found it. But in doing so, he had lost everything that made him human, everything that made him Goku. He was no longer a protector, a friend, a father, a husband. He was a force of nature, a cosmic horror, a destroyer of worlds. He had become what he had always been fighting against. The final part of the story is told from the perspective of Gohan years later, as he recounts the last days of his father to a new generation. He tells of how Goku, in his infinite power and infinite emptiness, became aware of the multiverse, of the infinite realities that existed beyond his own. He tells of how the corrupted hero, driven by a twisted sense of responsibility, began to correct these realities, to save them from the pain and suffering of existence by ending them. Gohan describes the final, desperate battle, a battle not of fists and energy blasts, but of wills. He tells of how he and the remaining Z fighters, along with the help of Whis and Beerus, confronted Goku, not to defeat him, but to remind him of who he was, of the love he had lost, of the humanity he had sacrificed. They reminded him of Chi-Chi, Goten, and his friends. They reminded him of what it meant to be Goku, not a destroyer. In a heart-wrenching scene, Gohan reaches through the corrupted power, through the seventh step, and connects with the last vestiges of his father's humanity. He reminds Goku of his family, his friends, of the simple joys of life that he had once cherished. He reminds him of who he used to be before the power consumed him. Goku, for a moment, remembers. He sees the horror of what he has become, the devastation he has wrought. And in that moment of clarity, he makes the ultimate sacrifice. He uses his remaining power to seal himself away, to remove himself from reality, to a place beyond the multiverse, a place where he can no longer harm anyone. His final words, whispered on the cosmic winds, are a plea for forgiveness and a warning to those who seek ultimate power. Power is not an answer, it is a question, and some questions are best left unanswered. The story ends with Gohan looking up at the stars, a single tear rolling down his cheek. The universe is safe, for now. But the legend of the corrupted Saiyan, the being who became so powerful that he destroyed himself to save everything else, lives on. A chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks within even the brightest of heroes. A reminder that sometimes the greatest enemy we face is not from outside, but from within. That sometimes the price of power is simply too high. The greatest power is not strength or might, but restraint. And somewhere, beyond the edges of reality, beyond the reach of time and space, a single black star flickers in the void, a silent testament to the hero who became a monster to save the universe from himself. A place where a god, now made a devil, resides, forever watching, forever waiting, forever alone. The void is his home now, and it is silent.